The wind over Mordor tastes of ash when the ring betrays its bearer. On the cracked stone of Sammath Naur, a small hand rises, not to cast away the golden band, but to crown it upon a trembling finger. The mountain roars, the eye flares, and in that blinding instant of red and gold, the will of a dark lord rushes howling into the mind of a hobbit who dares to say, "The ring's mine." If you enjoy these journeys into darker paths of Middle-earth, remember to like the video and subscribe so you do not miss the next turn in the road. Tell me in the comments which realm you would stand for in this timeline and where in the world you are watching from. Frodo Baggins stands upon the ledge of the Crack of Doom. Framed in fire, the heat claws at his skin, sulfur burns his throat. The weight that has dragged at his neck for so long is gone from its chain and now burns against his palm, bright as a fallen star. Behind him, Samwise cries out, hoarse and desperate, "Master Frodo, what are you waiting for? Throw it in!" Frodo does not answer. His eyes, once clear and gray, are wide and distant, fixed on the ring. The light of the molten fire below flickers across his face, but another light has entered his gaze, colder, more terrible. He lifts the ring slowly. "I have come," he whispers, and his voice is not quite his own, "but I do not choose now to do what I came to do." Sam staggers forward, arms outstretched. "Frodo, no!" Frodo turns, and for a heartbeat, Sam sees him, weary, broken, tears carving pale tracks through the grime. Then something else moves behind those eyes like a shadow passing across a window. "The ring is mine," Frodo says. He slides it onto his finger. The world vanishes. Sound tears away. Light implodes. For Frodo, there is only a scream of wind and a plunge into a bottomless dark that is not absence, but presence, a vast and crushing awareness. He falls inward, and Sauron is waiting. In the chamber, Sam sees his master vanish, as he has vanished before. The air seems to shudder. The fires of Orodruin leap higher, as if drawn upward by an unseen hand. Far above, through choking fumes, the eye upon Barad-dûr contracts to a pinprick, then flares wide with a joy that is almost pain. On the slopes of Mount Doom, Gollum freezes. He has crawled and stumbled after them, driven by hunger and hatred, his mind a knot of obsession. He hears Frodo's declaration echoing from the chasm like a doom pronounced. "The ring is mine." Gollum's pupils narrow. A hiss escapes him, thin and shrill. "No," he whispers, "no. Precious, not his. Ours. Ours." He scrambles upward, fingers bleeding on hot rock. Outside the mountain, on the plain of Gorgoroth, the hosts of Mordor waver. At the very edge of the Black Gate, surrounded by a tide of steel and teeth, Aragorn, son of Arathorn, holds Andúril in a two-handed grip. The sword gleams white in the gloom, a shard of fallen star. Around him stand Gandalf, Éomer, Legolas, Gimli, and the last remnant of the West. They feel it. A tremor passes through the earth. A deep grinding like the turning of buried gears. The eye upon its tower flinches, then narrows with sudden predatory focus. Gandalf's face goes still. "No," he breathes. Aragorn glances at him. "What is it?" Gandalf does not answer. He is listening with more than his ears, his mind straining across distance and shadow, reaching toward the fire of Orodruin. He feels the ring claimed. In that instant, the wizard understands that the game upon which all their lives have been staked has changed. The subtle presence that has stalked his thoughts for years surges not from Barad-dûr, but from the mountain's heart. The ring is no longer merely Sauron's lost weapon. It has a bearer again, and the bearer is Frodo Baggins. Inside the ring, there is no up or down, no time as mortals know it. Frodo finds himself standing upon a plain of black glass that stretches without end. Above, the sky is a whirlpool of red and gold, shot through with lightning that never strikes. In the far distance, like a wound torn in the heavens, burns a single eye of fire. He feels its gaze like a spear through his chest. "Halfling," says a voice. It is not sound, but it vibrates in his bones. It is vast, cold, and burning all at once, like iron drawn from a forge and plunged into snow. Frodo turns. There is no figure to see, only a pressure, an intelligence that has filled this place for ages uncounted. Yet he senses a shape, tall and terrible, a shadow clad in armor of night. "You have claimed what is mine," the voice says. "You have spoken the words of possession. You have opened the door." Frodo swallows. His throat is dry, but in this place that means nothing. He feels very small, like a child lost in a hall of giants. "For so long," Sauron continues, "no hand dared put it on in the very fire of its making. You have courage, little one, or folly?" Frodo straightens, though his knees tremble. "I came to destroy you," he says. "To end this, I will not let you take me. There is amusement, sharp and cruel. You have already let me in. You have carried me from the Shire to the very brink of my ruin. You have borne me against my will into the fire where I was forged. You have placed me upon your hand and spoken words of binding. You are mine more surely than my greatest captains." The black glass beneath Frodo's feet ripples. Images rise like reflections on water. Bag End, warm and green. The party tree. Gandalf's laughing face. Sam's hands in the earth of his garden. They twist. The Shire blackens, its fields trampled under iron boots. Smoke rises from Hobbiton. The party tree burns. Hobbits lie in the mud, eyes wide and empty. "No!" Frodo cries. He drops to his knees, reaching for the images, but his hands pass through them. They shatter into shards of light that cut his skin, though there is no blood. "You cannot fight me with love for what I will destroy," Sauron says. "You cannot threaten me with your own loss. You have seen what I do. You have walked through the lands I have broken. You know that mercy is weakness. You have felt the weight of power. You have tasted what it means to command, even if only in dreams." Frodo remembers. On the road, in moments of exhaustion and despair, he has imagined using the ring. He has seen himself standing tall, terrible, and shining, ordering armies, unmaking Barad-dûr with a word. Bending Nazgul to his will, he has pushed those visions away. Now they rise unbidden, clear and bright. There he stands upon the walls of Minas Tirith, cloaked in white and gold, the ring upon his hand. Sauron's hosts break like waves upon rock. Aragorn kneels. Gandalf bows. "The Shire is safe forever." "You could do this," Sauron murmurs, "if you accept me. If you cease this foolish resistance, you could have the strength to save what you love. Power is not evil, halfling. It is only power. In the hands of one such as you who has known suffering, who has walked in darkness, it could be used well." The voice softens, almost kindly. "Do you not hate me, Frodo Baggins? Hate what I have done to you? Hate the pain, the fear, the burden? Take me, and you can end me. You can turn my own fire against me. You can be the master." Frodo shakes, torn between horror and a fierce, aching desire. He thinks of Sam, waiting in the choking heat, thinking him lost. He thinks of his uncle, of Bilbo's haunted eyes. He thinks of the weight of the ring around his neck for so long, the way it has gnawed at his will, whispering of rest, of release. He is so tired. "Why?" he whispers. "Why offer me this? Why not simply crush me?" The laughter that rolls across the plain is like an avalanche, because you cannot be crushed, not here, not now. You have claimed the ring in the fire of its making. You have bound yourself to it in the place of its birth. You are not a mere bearer. You are a door. I cannot pass fully into the world while the ring is unmastered by another will. I cannot tear it from you by force, not while you stand in my own forge with it upon your hand. You have made yourself my equal in this single matter. You have placed yourself between me and my heart. The eye above burns hotter, so I will not crush you, Sauron says. I will conquer you. On the ledge above the fire, Sam stares at the empty space where Frodo stood. "Master!" he cries again. His voice is swallowed by the roar of the mountain. The ring's power, now unmasked, fills the chamber like a pressure in the skull. Sam feels it pushing at him, a temptation to leap, to seize, to take. He grits his teeth, tears streaming, and forces himself to stand still. He knows, with a certainty that makes his stomach twist, that Frodo has failed. "Come back," he whispers. "Come back to me." Behind him, claws scrape on stone. Gollum launches himself from the shadows with a shriek. He collides with Sam, teeth bared, fingers like iron hooks. They tumble onto the hot rock, rolling dangerously close to the edge. Sam grunts as Gollum's nails rake his cheek. "Where is it?" Gollum howls. "Where is it, filthy hobbitses? Where is our precious?" Sam shoves him away and scrambles to his knees. "Frodo has it," he gasps. "He has claimed it." Gollum freezes, eyes bulging. "No," he says. "No, no, no. He cannot. It is ours. We found it. We kept it. We waited. We suffered. It is ours." His voice breaks into a wail that is almost inhuman. Sam sees something then, a flicker of the creature that once was Smeagol, twisted by centuries of hunger and solitude. For a heartbeat, pity wells up. "Smeagol," Sam says, breathing hard. "It is over. Let it go. Help me bring him back. Please." Gollum's face convulses. "Bring him back," he whispers. "Back, yes. Back to the dark, back to the deep, back to where we can bite off his finger and take what is ours." He lunges again. This time Sam is ready. He meets Gollum's charge with the flat of his hand, slamming him to the rock. Their faces are inches apart, both streaked with sweat and ash. "Listen to me," Sam says, his voice low and fierce. "The ring is killing him. It will kill us all. If he does not destroy it, Sauron will win. You know what that means. You have seen his land. You have felt his eye. You think there will be any place left for you to hide?" Gollum hesitates. Deep within him, the last ember of Smeagol flickers. He remembers the dead marshes, the weight of the eye, the terror of being dragged before the Dark Lord. He remembers chains, whips, questions that burned like acid. He remembers hiding in the roots of mountains while armies marched above, while the world changed and he stayed the same. He remembers dimly a river and sunlight on water. "Help me," Sam says again. Gollum's mouth opens and closes. He looks toward the chasm where heat shimmers in the air. He can feel it, feel the ring's presence like a pulling in his chest. It is so close, closer than it has been in years. It is on a hand, a hobbit hand, just like his once was. He could leap, he could bite, he could have it, or he could let it fall. A sound rises from deep within the mountain, a new note in the endless roar. It is a scream, not of flesh, but of something far older. In the plain within the ring, Frodo doubles over as pain lances through him. Sauron presses, a storm of will, a hurricane battering a lone tree. He hurls memories at Frodo like spears, the forging of the rings. The 9 kings of men, proud and greedy, sliding rings onto their fingers, their slow corruption, their crowns fallen into dust as they become wraiths. He shows Frodo the fall of Numenor, the great island swallowed by the sea, its towers breaking like toys. He shows him the long war of the last alliance, the siege of Barad-dûr, the moment when Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's hand. He shows him Isildur's choice, the refusal to cast the ring into the fire, the claiming of it as Weregild, the pride, the fall in the gladdened fields, the arrows like black rain. See, Sauron says, they all failed. Great and wise, kings and lords, all failed. Do you think you are stronger than they? Frodo staggers under the weight of those lives, those choices. He feels the ring pulsing on his finger, a second heartbeat. It is not inert metal here, it is a living thing, a knot of will and memory and fire. He senses something else within it, buried deep, a hollow, a hunger. Sauron pours himself through that hollow. He reaches for Frodo's mind, seeking purchase, seeking cracks. He finds fear, pain, love, and something else he did not expect. Stubbornness, the same stubbornness that drove a hobbit through the dead marshes, up the stairs of Cirith Ungol, across the ashen plain of Mordor. You are nothing, Sauron says, and there is irritation now, a faint crack in his perfect contempt, a speck from a forgotten corner of the world. You have no right to stand against me. Frodo lifts his head. He is shaking, his skin clammy, his eyes bloodshot, but there is a light in them that is not borrowed from the ring. I am Frodo Baggins of the Shire, he says, and I do stand against you. He reaches inward toward the ring, not as a supplicant, but as one who has carried a burden until it has become familiar. He feels its deceit, its seduction, its promises. He also feels its fear. For the first time in its long history, the ring is in danger, truly in danger, and it knows it. It is in the fire of its birth. It is on the hand of a creature who has walked into that fire willingly. The ring does not wish to be destroyed, nor does Sauron. They are bound, maker, and made, but they are not identical. The ring has its own instinct for preservation. Sauron, in his rage, would risk all to reclaim himself. The ring would rather endure, even in diminished form, than be unmade. Frodo senses this tension, this tiny misalignment. He pushes. Outside, on the plains of Mordor, the eye wavers. Gandalf feels it. At the Black Gate, as trolls advance and the hosts of Mordor close like a noose, the wizard raises his staff. Hold, he cries. The men of Gondor and Rohan, the elves and dwarves and rangers, all turn their faces toward him, sweat and fear streaking their features. The Nazgul wheel above, shrieking. Gandalf's eyes are distant, looking not at the battlefield, but far beyond. Something is happening, he murmurs. Aragorn moves closer. Frodo? Gandalf does not answer, but hope and dread war in his gaze. He feels two great powers locked in struggle, not in the world of light and stone, but in a deeper place. The outcome will decide whether any of them see another dawn. On the walls of Minas Tirith, under a sky veiled with smoke, people pause in their labors. The wounded lie on pallets. Women carry water. Children cling to the skirts of their elders. They feel a pressure in the air, a heaviness, as if a storm were about to break. In the houses of healing, Faramir, son of Denethor, sits up in his bed, heart pounding. He sees, as if in a waking dream, a small figure standing before a great fire, his hand alight with gold. Halfling, he whispers. Eowyn, pale and bandaged in the next cot, turns her head. What is it? She asks. Faramir's eyes are far away. I do not know, he says, but the world holds its breath. In the golden wood, Galadriel stands at the edge of a fountain, her hand resting upon the stone. The water in her mirror is dark, but she does not need it now. She feels the tremor in the fabric of Arda, the strain where two wills clash. She closes her eyes. "Do not fall, ring-bearer," she says softly. "Do not become what you oppose." In the plain within the ring, Sauron presses harder. He shows Frodo more. The Shire in chains, hobbits in black livery marching under a red eye, Bag End turned into a fortress, the party tree replaced by a gallows. He shows him Sam broken, crawling in the dust, begging for death. "Stop," Frodo gasps. "You could prevent this," Sauron says. "Say the word. Accept me. Together we will reshape the world. There will be order. There will be peace. No more wandering in fear, no more hiding. You will sit upon a throne, and all will be safe beneath your gaze." Frodo thinks of safety, of warm fires, of full pantries, of long summer evenings. He thinks of the ring's promises, so sweet, so reasonable. He thinks of Boromir, weeping and wild, reaching for the ring with shaking hands. He thinks of Gollum, hunched and muttering in the dark. He thinks of himself, sitting in Bag End, feeling the ring in his pocket, feeling it pull at his thoughts. He sees a path before him, if he accepts Sauron. If he becomes the vessel of that ancient will, he could indeed wield great power. He could turn it first against Mordor, perhaps. He could break the armies, free the slaves, tear down the towers, for a time, until slowly his choices would twist. His fears would grow. His need to control, to protect, would harden into tyranny. He would become another Dark Lord, shrouded in good intentions. He sees another path. If he resists, Sauron will not withdraw. He will pour more of himself into the ring, into Frodo, trying to overwhelm him. The strain may break Frodo's mind. It may kill him. But if, in that struggle, the ring is destabilized, if its maker and its bearer pull against each other with all their strength, what then? Frodo does not know. But he knows this. He cannot win by becoming the thing he hates. He draws a breath that is not breath, in a place that is not air. "I will not be your vessel," he says. Sauron's presence rears up, towering, enraged. "You have no choice," he roars. Frodo smiles, though blood trickles from the corner of his mouth. "Then you do not know hobbits," he says. He turns his will not outward, not toward domination or command, but inward, toward surrender, not to Sauron, to the fire. He remembers the heat on his skin, the roar of Orodruin. He remembers the ledge beneath his feet, the chasm below. He remembers why he came. He came to let go. He focuses on that memory, that intention, with all his strength. The ring shudders. It is bound to Sauron's will, to his desire for mastery. It is also bound to the place of its making, to the fire that can unmake it. Frodo, standing in both realms at once, becomes a bridge. He pours himself down that bridge, his fear, his love, his pain, his hope, all of it. He does not try to control the ring. He offers himself as fuel. Outside, on the ledge, Sam sees something impossible. For an instant, Frodo flickers back into sight. He stands at the very brink, his hand outstretched over the fire. The ring upon his finger burns white hot, the gold gone, almost transparent. Frodo's face is contorted, not with greed now, but with agony and determination. "Sam!" he whispers. Sam lunges. Their fingers brush. In that touch, something passes between them. Sam feels a surge of heat, not physical, but spiritual, rushing through him. He sees in a flash what Frodo sees: the plane of black glass, the eye above, the towering presence of Sauron. He also sees the Shire. He sees Rosie at the well, the gaffer at his pipe, children running under the party tree. They are so small, so far away, and yet they are everything. Sam's love for them flares like a second sun. It pours through his hand into Frodo, into the ring. Sauron recoils. What is this? He has known many emotions in his long existence: pride, wrath, desire, contempt. He has known fear, though he has buried it deep. He has never known this: love unadorned by desire for possession, love that would rather lose everything than see the beloved enslaved. It burns him. For a heartbeat, his grip falters. In that opening, the fire of Orodruin surges upward. It licks at the edges of the ring, at the edges of Frodo's soul. Frodo screams. The sound echoes in the plain within the ring, shattering the black glass under his feet. Cracks spiderweb outward, glowing with molten light. Sauron roars in answer, gathering himself, trying to pull back, to withdraw from the ring before it is too late. He cannot. He has poured too much of himself into it, too much of his essence. To tear himself free now would be to rip out his own heart. The ring is caught between two fires, the will of its maker and the fire that can unmake it. Frodo stands at the point where they meet. He feels himself coming apart. Memories fly from him like sparks. Bilbo's voice telling stories. Merry and Pippin's laughter. The sound of rain on the roof of Bag End. The smell of mushrooms. The feel of grass under bare feet. He clutches at one memory, holds it close, Sam's hand in his. He lets everything else go. The plane of black glass explodes. Light floods the space, white and gold and red, searing away shadow. Sauron howls, a sound of such ancient fury and despair that it shakes the foundations of Barad-dûr. On the slopes of Mount Doom, the mountain convulses. The ledge where Frodo and Sam stand cracks. A jet of flame erupts, forcing Sam back. He throws an arm over his face, coughing. For an instant, he sees Frodo outlined in fire. The ring blazes upon his finger like a miniature sun. Then, with a sound like a bell shattering, it bursts. There is no slow melting, no gentle sinking into the lava. The ring explodes outward in a storm of golden fragments that turn to ash before they hit the air. A shock wave of force slams into Sam, hurling him against the rock. He feels something tear in his chest. He hears Frodo cry out, a raw, broken sound. Then there is only the roar of the mountain. Far away at the Black Gate, the eye upon Barad-dûr goes black. The hosts of Mordor freeze. The Nazgûl shriek, their voices rising in a terrible, dissonant chord. Their forms waver, flicker, then burst into flame. One by one, they fall from the sky like burning meteors. On the plain, trolls bellow in confusion. Orcs clutch at their heads, dropping their weapons. Some fall to their knees. Others turn and run, trampling each other in blind panic. Gandalf staggers, clutching his staff. He feels Sauron's presence wrench, twist, and then change. Not a simple extinguishing, not the clean severing that would have come if the ring had been cast away without this inner struggle. Something has broken. Something has also remained. Aragorn sees the confusion in the enemy ranks. He raises Andúril high. "For Frodo!" he cries. The men of the West roar and answer in charge. Steel meets steel. Orcs fall. Trolls bellow and die. The tide turns, yet above the din, Gandalf hears another sound, faint but unmistakable. Laughter. From the ruins of Barad-dûr, from the very stones of Mordor, a thin, cold mirth rises. Sauron is not gone. He is wounded, diminished beyond anything he has known since the end of the Second Age. But he is not destroyed. Part of him has been burned away with the ring. Part of him has found another anchor. In the heart of the mountain, amid falling stone and gouts of flame, Frodo lies on the rock. His clothes smolder. His skin is blistered. The hand that bore the ring is blackened to the wrist. the fingers curled like claws. His eyes are open. They are not the eyes Sam remembers. They are too deep, too bright, as if a light burns behind them that does not belong to a hobbit. Sam drags himself across the shaking ledge. "Frodo!" he coughs. "Mr. Frodo." Frodo turns his head. He smiles. "Sam," he says. His voice is layered. It is Frodo's, hoarse and gentle, and under it something older, something that vibrates in Sam's bones. Sam's breath catches. He knows, without knowing how, that the ring is gone. He also knows that something else has taken its place. Sauron has not reclaimed his full power. The ring's destruction has torn great chunks from him, left him ragged and bleeding in spirit. But in that moment of shattering, when the ring's substance turned to ash, a path opened. Frodo, standing in the center of the storm, became not a vessel of domination, but a vessel of survival. Sauron, in his terror of annihilation, flowed into the only refuge available, into Frodo's soul. He is not whole. He is not the Dark Lord who built Barad-dûr and broke kingdoms. He is a shard, a remnant, bound to a small battered body, yet he is Sauron still, and he is awake. "Sam," Frodo says again, and this time the warmth is real, the affection unfeigned. "You did it. You helped me." Sam nods, tears cutting new paths through the ash on his face. "We did it together," he says. "The ring's gone." Frodo's eyes flicker. "Yes," he says slowly. "The ring is gone." Something like grief passes across his face. Sam does not understand it. The mountain shakes harder. Chunks of stone fall from the ceiling, some the size of wagons. A crack splits the ledge, running between Frodo and Sam. Lava surges up, splashing, sending waves of heat. "We have to go," Sam shouts. He reaches for Frodo. For a moment, Frodo hesitates. He feels Sauron coiled within him, a snake in his chest. He feels the Dark Lord's rage, his humiliation, his cold, calculating mind already probing, already testing the limits of this new prison. He feels also his own exhaustion, his own longing for rest. He could stay. He could let the mountain take him. He could end it here, end Sauron with him, burn both their souls to ash. He sees the path. He sees Sam's face. If he dies here, Sam dies too. Sam will not leave him. The mountain will bury them both. The world outside will go on, perhaps, free of Sauron at last. Perhaps, Sauron whispers, "Do you think I will go so easily into the dark? Do you think I have no roots in this world? I am in the stones of Mordor, in the fear of men, in the memory of elves. Even if you burn, some part of me will cling. You will not end me so simply." Frodo grits his teeth. He does not know whether that is true. He does know that he cannot make this choice for Sam. He reaches out and takes Sam's hand. "Let us go home," he says. They run, or try to. The path out of Sammath Naur is a chaos of falling rock and gouts of flame. The floor bucks beneath their feet. More than once, Sam hauls Frodo up when he stumbles. More than once, Frodo drags Sam through a curtain of ash. Behind them, the chamber where the ring was destroyed collapses in a roar of stone and fire. Ahead, the red light of the mountain's throat beckons. They burst out onto the outer slope as a great crack splits the peak. The sky above Mordor is a whirl of black smoke and lightning. The ground heaves. Rivers of lava pour down the sides of Orodruin, carving new scars into the already tortured land. Frodo and Sam stumble down the rocks, coughing, half blind. At last, their legs give way. They collapse on a little shelf of stone, surrounded by fire. Sam looks at Frodo. Frodo looks at the sky. "It is done," he whispers. His voice is his own for now. In the distance, the great towers of Barad-dûr shudder without the ring to anchor its enchantments. The fortress begins to crumble. Walls split. spires lean and fall. The eye, dark and empty, collapses inward, a hollow shell. The ground around its foundation sinks, as if the very earth is exhaling in relief. A great cloud of dust and ash rises. On the plain, the armies of the west watch in awe and fear. Aragorn lowers his sword. "So it ends," he says. Gandalf does not answer. He feels the fall of Barad-dûr like the breaking of a chain. He also feels a thread, thin but unbroken, stretching from the ruins of Mordor toward the mountain. He closes his eyes. "Not as we expected," he murmurs. The battle at the Black Gate becomes a rout. Leaderless, the orcs scatter. Some throw themselves on their faces, gibbering. Others run blindly into the marshes and are swallowed. Trolls lumber away, confused until arrows bring them down. Men of Gondor and Rohan, elves and dwarves, cut through the chaos. Yet even as victory surges through them, a strange unease settles. The shadow has passed, and yet the world does not feel entirely free. In Minas Tirith, bells ring. People pour into the streets, laughing, weeping, embracing. The White City, battered and bloodied, tastes joy. Faramir stands upon the wall, watching the distant darkness over Mordor. Éowyn, at his side, takes his hand. "It is over," she says. Faramir nods slowly. "Perhaps," he says. "Perhaps not." In Lothlorien, Galadriel opens her eyes. She feels the fall of Sauron's fortress. She feels the weakening of his will. She also feels a new knot in the weave of fate, small but dense, like a seed of shadow. She turns her gaze westward. "Frodo," she whispers, "what have you become?" On the burning slope of Mount Doom, two small figures lie unmoving. Ash settles on them like snow. The mountain rumbles. Out of the dark sky, two shapes descend, vast and winged, eagles. Gwaihir the Windlord beats his mighty wings, scattering ash. He lands upon a jut of rock near the hobbits. Another eagle settles beside him. Gwaihir's keen eyes take in the scene. "Here they are," he says, "the ring-bearers." He moves carefully, talons gripping the rock, and lowers his great head. Frodo's eyes flutter open. For a moment, he sees not an eagle, but a great bird of fire, a memory of ancient days when he looked down from a different height, commanding creatures of wing and shadow. Then the vision fades. He is a hobbit again, small and broken, staring up at a living legend. "Am I dead?" he asks. His voice is slurred. Gwaihir's gaze is deep and wise. "Not yet, Frodo, son of Drogo," he says. "Not while there is work for you still in this world." He does not know what he means by that. He only knows that when he looks into Frodo's eyes, he feels a chill, as if a cold wind blows from some far dark place. He shakes it off. With great care, the eagles lift Frodo and Sam in their talons. They leap into the air. The wind rushes past, cool and clean compared to the breath of the mountain. Below, Mordor burns. Rivers of fire carve new paths. The Black Gate lies broken. Barad-dûr is a heap of ruin. As they fly, Frodo drifts in and out of consciousness. Sometimes he is in his own body, feeling the ache of every bruise, the sting of every burn. Sometimes he is elsewhere. He stands upon a high place, looking out over a world of smoke and iron. He feels towers rising at his command, armies marching. He feels the weight of a crown of iron upon his brow. He hears a voice, not Sauron's, his own. "Peace," he says in that vision. "Order, safety." He wakes with a start, heart pounding. Sam, cradled in the other eagle's grip, stirs. "Mr. Frodo?" he calls weakly. "I am here, Sam," Frodo answers. The words feel strange in his mouth, as if he is speaking from a distance. The eagles bear them west, over the Ephel Duath, over the Pelennor fields, toward the White City. When Frodo next wakes fully, he lies in a soft bed. Sunlight streams through a window. golden and gentle, the smell of athelas and clean linen fills the air. He blinks. Gandalf sits beside the bed. The wizard's beard is whiter than Frodo remembers, his eyes lined with new weariness. Yet when he sees Frodo wake, his face lights with joy. "Well, Master Baggins," he says, "you are awake at last." Frodo smiles. It feels almost easy. "Gandalf," he says. "Is it over?" Gandalf hesitates. "In part," he says. "The ring is destroyed. Barad-dûr has fallen. Sauron's armies are scattered. The shadow is lifted from many hearts." He studies Frodo's face. "And you, Frodo? How do you feel?" Frodo considers. He feels light and heavy at once. The absence of the ring is a strange emptiness, a missing weight. At the same time, there is a new presence within him, coiled and watchful. "I feel strange," he admits, as if something is missing, and something else has taken its place. Gandalf nods slowly. He has suspected as much. When he felt the ring's destruction, he also felt a surge of power, a flare of Sauron's essence, and then a displacement. He has had time, while Frodo lay unconscious, to think, to fear. "Frodo," he says gently, "what happened in the fire? When you claimed the ring, I felt a struggle." Frodo's eyes darken. He remembers the plane of black glass, the eye, the voice, the explosion of light. He also remembers the moment when Sauron, in his terror, reached for him, tried to pour himself into this new vessel. He remembers choosing not to resist entirely. He remembers opening himself, not to be ruled, but to contain. "I could not destroy him," Frodo says. "Not completely. He was too bound to the world, to the fear and hatred he has sown. But I could keep him from taking shape again. I could keep him from finding another ring, another fortress." Gandalf's hand tightens on the coverlet. "How?" he asks quietly. Frodo meets his gaze. "I took him," he says, "into myself." Silence falls. Outside the window, the sounds of the city drift up. Laughter, hammers, the calling of vendors. Life goes on. Inside, the air seems to grow colder. Gandalf's eyes close for a moment. He has seen many strange things in his long existence. He has walked in the timeless halls. He has spoken with Manwë. He has watched the rise and fall of kingdoms. He has never heard of this. "You are sure?" he asks. "It is truly him?" Frodo nods. "He is diminished," he says slowly, broken, angry. He whispers. He pushes. "But he cannot command me. Not now. Not while I remember who I am." Gandalf opens his eyes. "And if you forget?" Frodo looks away. "I do not know," he says. For a long moment, they sit in silence. Gandalf thinks of the world outside, of Aragorn, soon to be king, of the elves already planning their departure, of the dwarves in their halls, the men in their fields. He thinks of a hobbit carrying within him the last remnant of the great enemy. "I will not let him hurt anyone," Frodo says suddenly. His voice is fierce, his hands clenched in the blanket. "I carried the ring. I brought it to the fire. I will carry this too. I will not let him win." Gandalf looks at him. He sees the same stubbornness that defied Sauron in the ring's heart. He sees also the shadow under his eyes, the tremor in his hands. "You should not have to bear this," he says softly. Frodo smiles sadly. "I already do," he answers. "The question is what we do about it." In the days that follow, Minas Tirith rejoices. Aragorn is crowned Elisar, king of Gondor and Arnor. The white tree blooms. The city fills with song. Frodo walks its streets like a ghost. Sam, Merry, and Pippin stay close to him as much as they can. They drag him into feasts, into gardens, into quiet corners where they can smoke and talk of the Shire. Sometimes Frodo laughs. Sometimes, in the middle of a conversation, his gaze goes distant. He sees, overlaid upon the white walls and bright banners, another city, a city of black stone, its towers sharp as teeth, its gates carved with screams. He sees lines of men in chains. He sees forges belching smoke. He hears a voice. "You could make it better," Sauron murmurs. "You could keep them safe. These men, so frail, so easily led astray. They will need a strong hand. Aragorn is noble, but he is only a man. He will die. His heirs may be weak. You could guide them. You could whisper in their dreams. You could make sure that what you suffered never happens again." Frodo clenches his jaw. He forces his attention back to Sam's face, to the way Merry waves his arms when he talks, to Pippin's bright grin. "No," he thinks back, "I will not be your mouthpiece." Sauron chuckles. "We will see at night," Frodo dreams. He dreams of standing on the walls of Minas Tirith, watching a new army gather, not of orcs and trolls, but of men in bright armor, disciplined and silent. He dreams of giving an order. He wakes with his heart pounding, his hand reaching for a weight that is no longer at his neck. His fingers curl around emptiness. He feels Sauron watching. "You miss it," the Dark Lord whispers. "Do you not? The certainty, the sense of purpose, the knowledge that every step you took was part of something greater." Frodo turns his face into the pillow. He does not answer. One evening, as the sun sets behind Mindalluin and the city glows in pink and gold, Aragorn comes to Frodo's chamber. He finds the Hobbit sitting by the window, looking out over the Pelennor. "May I join you?" Aragorn asks. Frodo nods. The king sits. For a while, they are silent. "You have given me a kingdom," Aragorn says at last, "and yet I feel that I cannot repay you." Frodo smiles faintly. "I did not do it for a kingdom," he says. "I did it because I could not bear to see the Shire under shadow." Aragorn studies him. "There is something in you," he says slowly, "that was not there before. A weight, a depth. When you look at me, sometimes I feel as if I stand before a mirror that shows more than my face." Frodo's hand tightens on the windowsill. "What do you see?" he asks. Aragorn hesitates. "I see judgment," he says, "and pity, and something harder, like a blade." Frodo looks down at his hands. "Am sorry," he says. "Do not be," Aragorn answers. "It keeps me honest." He leans forward. "Frodo," he says, "Gandalf has spoken to me a little. He says that Sauron is not wholly gone, that you carry some part of him." Frodo's shoulders stiffen. "Does that frighten you?" he asks. Aragorn considers. "Yes," he says, "it does. But so did the thought of facing the armies of Mordor. So does the thought of ruling justly. Fear is not a guide, only a warning." He turns to Frodo fully. "What do you intend to do?" he asks. Frodo looks out at the fields. He sees farmers already returning, plowing furrows through the scars of battle. He sees children chasing each other among the ruins of siege engines. He sees sunlight on the Anduin. "I will go home," he says, "to the Shire. I will live as a hobbit again as much as I can. I will watch. I will listen. If he stirs, if he grows stronger, I will seek help." Aragorn nods. "If ever you need me," he says, "you have only to send word." Gondor will answer. Frodo smiles. "Thank you," he says. Sauron stirs. "How touching," he murmurs. "The king of men at the call of a halfling. You could command him, you know. You could bend him to your will gently, so that he never even knows he serves you." Frodo closes his eyes. He breathes. He counts his breaths, as Gandalf taught him in Rivendell. 1, 2, 3. The whispers recede for now. The day comes when the hobbits must leave. Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Éomer, Faramir, Éowyn, and many others gather at the great gate to see them off. There are tears, laughter, embraces. Aragorn kneels before Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin. "You shall not be forgotten," he says. Your names will be held in honor in this city as long as its stones stand." Merry and Pippin grin, embarrassed and proud. Sam blushes. Frodo bows his head. He feels Sauron watching through his eyes, taking in the scene. "So much love," the Dark Lord murmurs. "So much gratitude. It would be easy to use, to twist. A word here, a suggestion there. You could shape the future of men without ever lifting a sword." Frodo's jaw tightens. "Farewell," he says aloud. They ride north, through the green fields of Gondor, past the ruins of Osgiliath, along the banks of the Anduin. They cross the Entwash, skirt Fongorn, pass by the ruins of Isengard, where Treebeard tends his growing wood. At Isengard, Gandalf and the hobbits meet Saruman. The fallen wizard stands at the gate, his robe stained, his staff broken. Wormtongue slinks at his side. Saruman's eyes, once bright and piercing, are dimmer now. Yet when he sees Frodo, something like recognition flares. "You?" he says. "Ring-bearer?" Frodo stiffens. He feels Sauron stir like a snake scenting prey. "Curanir," Sauron whispers inside Frodo's mind, using Saruman's old name. "Traitor, would you like to see him kneel? You could, you know. Even now, broken as I am, I know the secret places of his heart. I could whisper them to you." Frodo dismounts. He walks toward Saruman, Sam hovering anxiously at his shoulder. "Do not come too close, Mr. Frodo," Sam mutters. Frodo stops a few paces away. "Saruman," he says, "what will you do now?" Saruman snorts. "What is that to you?" he sneers. "You have done your part. You have played your role in the little drama the Valar have written. Go back to your hole in the ground, halfling." Frodo studies him. Once, he would have felt only anger, only contempt. Now he feels something else, recognition. He sees in Saruman's fall a warning of his own possible future, a being of great power who sought to use that power for what he believed was good, who listened to Sauron's whispers, who thought he could master them and was mastered instead. "Be careful," Sauron hisses. "He will see us. He will smell me and you." Saruman's eyes narrow. He tilts his head as if listening. For a moment, the air between him and Frodo hums. "I see you," Saruman says softly. Frodo's heart stutters. "See what?" he asks. Saruman smiles, a thin, bitter curve. "Shadow and light," he says. "Fire and clay. Oh, this is a jest indeed. The Lord of the Rings, housed in a halfling. How the mighty have fallen." Sam bristles. "You watch your tongue, you old snake," he snaps. "Mr. Frodo is twice the person you ever were." Saruman's gaze slides to Sam, then back to Frodo. "You think you can contain him?" he asks. "You think you can carry him back to your little garden and live happily ever after? You are a fool, Baggins. He will seep out of you like poison into a well. He will twist your love, your pity, your desire to heal. He will turn your Shire into his new Mordor, and you will call it peace." Frodo's stomach knots. Sauron laughs. "He understands," he says. "He knows how I work. He walked the same path, though he stumbled sooner than you." Frodo takes a breath. "Perhaps," he says, "but I have something you did not." Saruman raises an eyebrow. "And what is that?" he asks. Frodo glances back at Sam, at Merry and Pippin, waiting by the horses, at Gandalf watching with concern. "Friends," he says simply. Saruman's expression flickers. For a moment, something like regret passes through his eyes, then his mouth hardens. "Go then," he says. "Run back to your green hills and your pipeweed. We will see how long your friends can hold you when he begins to whisper to them through you." He turns away. As the company rides north, Gandalf draws his horse alongside Frodo's. "You should not have spoken with him," the wizard says quietly. "I had to," Frodo answers. "I had to see what I might become." Gandalf looks at him. "And?" he asks. Frodo's hand tightens on the reins. "I will not be him," he says. "I will not." Sauron chuckles. "We will see." They pass through the gap of Rohan, ride along the greenway, cross the Brandywine. At last, they come to the borders of the Shire. The air smells of grass and earth. The hedges are green. Birds sing. Yet as they ride in, something feels wrong. They see men at the gates, rough-looking with clubs and whips. They see hobbits stepping aside, eyes lowered. They see new buildings, ugly and square, rising where trees once stood. The scouring of the Shire has begun. In the true history, Frodo returns and leads his friends in a quiet revolution. They rouse the hobbits, overthrow Sharky and his men, and restore the Shire. Here, the same happens. At first, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin confront the ruffians. They rally the hobbits. There is a battle at Bywater. The Shire folk, stirred by indignation and courage, drive out the invaders. Frodo moves through it all like a shadow. He does not kill. He stops others from killing when he can. Enough blood has been spilled, he says. Let them go. Sam frowns. They will only trouble someone else, he says. Perhaps, Frodo answers, but I cannot bear more death. Not here. Sauron watches. How merciful, he purrs. How noble. You think you are choosing kindness. You are choosing weakness. They will return, or others like them will. You could end it decisively. You could make an example that would echo for generations. Frodo shakes his head. No, he thinks back. That is your way. They find Sharky. Saruman, diminished and bitter, has made Bag End his lair. He stands in the doorway, looking out at the hobbits with contempt. You have ruined my plans, he snarls. I would have made something of this place. I would have raised it up from its foolishness. Frodo looks at him. He sees a mirror again, cracked and dirty. You have done enough harm, Frodo says. Leave, Saruman laughs, and you will let me go? After all I have done? He asks. Frodo nods. Yes, he says. I will not have murder in the Shire. Sauron seethes. Fool, he hisses. He deserves death. He will only spread his poison elsewhere. Frodo ignores him. Saruman steps past, Wormtongue skulking behind. As in the true tale, Wormtongue snaps. He turns on Saruman, stabs him. Saruman dies in the road, his spirit rising in a gray mist, reaching toward the west and then blown back, dissipating. Frodo watches. He feels a chill. That could be me, he thinks. Sam touches his arm. You did right, Mr. Frodo, he says. Killing him would not have made things better. Frodo manages a smile. Thank you, Sam, he says. Inside, Sauron simmers. For a time, life in the Shire returns to something like normal. Trees are replanted. Holes are rebuilt. Hobbits sing again in the Green Dragon. Sam marries Rosie. Their wedding is a bright, warm affair. There is dancing, ale, laughter. Children run underfoot. Frodo stands at the edge of the party watching. Joy swells in his chest. So does something else, envy. Not of Sam's bride, but of his simplicity. Sam can dig in his garden, smoke his pipe, laugh with friends, and mean it wholly. Frodo can do these things, but part of him is always elsewhere. He stands in the party field and sees, overlaid upon the lanterns and bunting, a different scene. The same field, but filled with ranks of hobbits in uniform, drilling with wooden staves. A platform where he stands, giving a speech about vigilance, about the need to defend the Shire from the world outside. He sees their eager faces, their trust. He feels a thrill, Sauron whispers. Is it so wrong, he asks, to prepare them, to make sure that no Sharky, no ruffian, no Dark Lord can ever again take them unawares? You could organize them. You could teach them discipline. You could build walls, dig ditches, train archers. You could turn the Shire into a fortress, a light against the dark. Frodo's hand tightens on his cup. He thinks of Saruman's words. He thinks of the men at the gates, the ugly houses, the cut-down trees. He thinks of Sam's children, not yet born, growing up in a land of drills and watchtowers instead of parties and gardens. He sets the cup down. No, he thinks, they will be hobbits, not soldiers. Sauron sighs. You are wasting such potential, he says. You could do so much good if you would only accept a little hardness. Frodo walks away from the party, into the dark, beyond the lanterns. He stands under the stars. They are bright, clear, cold. He feels very far from them. Footsteps crunch on the grass behind him. Sam appears at his side. Could not sleep either, Sam asks. Frodo smiles. Something like that, he says. They stand together in silence for a while. You have been quiet, Sam says at last, since we came back. Quieter than before. I know things are not the same. How could they be? But sometimes when you look at me, it is like you are looking through me, like you are somewhere else. Frodo swallows. I am sorry, Sam, he says. It is not you. It is something I carry. Sam nods. Gandalf told me a bit, he says, about him. Frodo's shoulders tense. He is in you, Sam continues, like a thorn or a splinter. I do not pretend to understand it. I am only a gardener. But I know this. You do not have to carry it alone. Frodo turns to him. How could you help? He asks. He is in my mind, in my dreams. He whispers. Sam shrugs. Then I will be in your mind too, he says. I will whisper back. I will remind you who you are every time he says you are something else. Frodo's throat tightens. Sam, he says, his voice rough, I do not know how long I can hold him. I do not know what he will do to me, to you, to all of us. Sam looks at him steadily. Then we will deal with that when it comes, he says. Together. Sauron watches this exchange with a strange, almost clinical interest. He has known loyalty before, from orcs, from men, from creatures bound by fear or enchantment. He has known love of a sort, twisted and possessive. He has never known this. It fascinates him. It frightens him. Time passes. Seasons turn. Frodo tries to live as a hobbit. He writes. He tends his little bit of garden, though his hands lack Sam's surety. He walks the lanes, visits friends, listens to gossip. He also listens inward. Sauron does not sleep. He whispers of threats, of men beyond the Shire who might covet its peace, of elves leaving, of dwarves digging too deep, of old evils stirring in dark places. He plays on Frodo's fears. You have seen what happens when people do nothing, he says, when they trust in others to fight their battles. You have seen the cost of complacency. Will you let your people fall into that again? Frodo wrestles with him. Sometimes in the dead of night, he finds himself halfway to the study, hand reaching for parchment, mind full of plans for a Shire militia, for alliances with Gondor, for trade agreements that would bind men to them in mutual dependence. He stops. He goes back to bed. He dreams of fire. On the anniversary of their flight from Weathertop, Frodo falls ill. His shoulder burns where the Morgul blade once pierced him. His hand aches where the ring was. He lies in bed, sweating, shivering, muttering. Sam sits by him, mopping his brow. Rosie hovers in the doorway, worried. Is it the same as before? She whispers. Sam nods grimly. Aye, he says, the old wound and the new. Inside Frodo's mind, Sauron surges, the barriers between them thin. Pain weakens Frodo's grip. Memories blur. For a while, Sauron can see through his eyes more clearly, can feel the world more sharply. He tastes the air of the Shire. It is green, soft, full of life. He hates it. He loves it. He feels the smallness of the houses, the roundness of the doors, the warmth of the fires. He imagines them burning. He imagines them fortified. He imagines himself walking these lanes, cloaked not in terror, but in respect, in affection. He could be a different kind of lord here, a gentle one, a patient one. He could shape these hobbits slowly over years, over generations, until they are something more. Frodo, in the depths of fever, hears these thoughts. They horrify him. They also tempt him. He has seen the bravery of hobbits, their resilience. He has seen what they can do when roused. He imagines a shire that is not helpless, that can stand against men, against orcs, against anything. He imagines leading them. He whispers, half delirious. "Sam," he says, we could make it safe, forever. We could build walls, train folk, make sure no one ever hurts us again." Sam's head snaps up. He sees a look in Frodo's eyes that chills him. Not madness, not exactly intensity. "Purpose, Mr. Frodo," he says carefully. "That is the fever talking, is it?" Frodo murmurs. "Or is it wisdom? We were so close to losing everything. If I had failed, if you had not been there, the Shire would be ashes. We cannot trust the world to leave us alone." Sauron smiles inside him. "Yes," he whispers. "Listen to yourself. You know this is true." Sam takes Frodo's hand. It is hot, trembling. "Mr. Frodo," he says, leaning close, his voice firm, "do you remember the party tree before all this? Do you remember dancing under it when you were a lad? Do you remember sitting under it with Bilbo, listening to his stories?" Frodo's gaze flickers. "Yes," he whispers. "Do you remember the smell of the earth after rain?" Sam continues. "The feel of grass under your feet? The way the sun looked on the hill in the morning?" Frodo's eyes fill with tears. "Yes," he says again. "That is what we are keeping safe," Sam says. "Not walls, not drills, not fear. That. If we turn the Shire into a fortress, if we make it all about enemies and battles and watchfulness, we will lose what makes it worth saving." Frodo's breath shudders. Sauron hisses. "Sentiment," he sneers. "Weakness. He would have you lie down and let the world trample you." Frodo turns his head away from the inner voice. He looks at Sam. "I am so tired," he whispers. Sam squeezes his hand. "Then rest," he says. "I will keep watch." Frodo closes his eyes. For a while the fever rages, then it breaks. He wakes to find Sam still there, Rosie dozing in a chair, the morning light soft on the curtains. He feels wrung out, as if something inside him has been stretched and then released. Sauron is quieter, not gone, never gone, but set back. "You cannot hold me forever," the Dark Lord says, sulking. "You will weaken. Your friends will die. Time is on my side. Time is on mine too," Frodo thinks back. Hobbits are stubborn. We endure. Years pass. Merry and Pippin become leaders in the Shire and Buckland, tall and bold, bringing a touch of Gondor and Rohan to their people. Sam and Rosie fill Bagshot Row with children, Frodo writes. He finishes Bilbo's book. He adds his own tale. He writes of the Shire, of its customs, of its gardens. He also writes in a second book. This one he keeps hidden. In it, he records his conversations with Sauron. He writes down the temptations, the arguments, the strategies. He analyzes them, dissects them, tries to understand how they work. He does not do this to be persuaded. He does it to learn how to resist. Sometimes, Sauron reads over his shoulder. "You think you can turn me into a lesson?" he asks, amused. "A cautionary tale in a hobbit's journal?" Frodo smiles faintly. "Perhaps," he thinks. "Perhaps someone after me will need to know." "After you," Sauron repeats slowly. "You think there will be an after you." Frodo's hand pauses. "Yes," he writes, "there must be." The strain tells. Frodo's body, never fully healed from his wounds, begins to fail. He tires easily. His hand aches when he writes. On the anniversary of the ring's destruction, he falls ill again, worse than before. Sam sits by his bed, tears in his eyes. Maybe it is time, Frodo says weakly. Time for what? Sam asks, voice thick. To leave, Frodo answers, to go where he cannot follow, or at least where I will not be alone with him. Sam frowns. Where is that? He asks. Frodo looks toward the west. Cross the sea, he says, to the undying lands. Gandalf spoke of them, a place of healing, a place where the hurts of this world can be mended. Sauron laughs. They will not let you in, he scoffs. You carry me. Do you think the Valar will welcome their old enemy, even wrapped in hobbit flesh? Frodo's heart clenches. He has wondered the same. He has spoken with Gandalf in letters, in brief visits when the wizard passes through. Gandalf does not know. I am not of the Valar, Frodo, he has said. I can guess, I can hope, but the choice is not mine. Frodo lies in his bed, feeling the weight of the decision. If he stays, he will go on fighting, day after day, year after year, as his body fails, as his friends age and die. If he goes, he may be refused. He may be cast back. He may bring Sauron into a place that has been free of him. He may also find help that no one in Middle-earth can offer. He thinks of Sam, of Rosie, of their children. He thinks of the Shire. He thinks of the world beyond, of Aragorn's kingdom, of the elves departing. He thinks of the shadow within him. He makes his choice. On a gray morning, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin ride to the Grey Havens. Gandalf waits there, robed in white. Elrond and Galadriel stand beside him, their faces grave and gentle. The sea stretches out vast and gray, its breath cool and salty. Frodo stands on the pier. He feels Sauron writhe. No, the Dark Lord hisses. No, I will not go there. I will not face them. Turn back, halfling. Stay in your hole. Stay where I can work, where I can grow. Do not throw us both into the hands of my enemies. Frodo's knees tremble. He looks at Sam. Sam's face is wet with tears. You are not coming, Frodo says softly. Sam shakes his head. Not yet, he says. I have Rosie, the little ones, the Shire. But I will come one day, if they will have the likes of me. Frodo smiles through his own tears. They will, he says. If they will have the likes of me, they will certainly have the likes of you. He embraces Merry and Pippin. He holds Sam for a long time. Thank you, he whispers. For what? Sam asks, voice breaking. For being my light, Frodo answers. He turns to Gandalf. Will they let me in? He asks quietly. Gandalf's eyes are full of sorrow and love. I do not know, he says. But you will not face them alone. They board the ship. The gangplank is drawn up, the sails fill. The Grey Havens recede. As the ship glides into the west, a strange peace settles over the water. Frodo stands at the bow, wind in his hair, salt on his lips. He feels Sauron coiled in him, frantic. You are a fool, the Dark Lord snarls. They will unmake you. They will tear you apart to root me out. You will cease to exist. Perhaps, Frodo thinks. Perhaps that is the price. And you go willingly? Sauron demands. Frodo looks at the horizon. The sky there is not like the sky of Middle-earth. It is deeper, clearer, tinged with a faint gold that seems to come from within rather than from the sun. Yes, he says. The ship sails on. Days pass. The air grows softer, the light stranger. Frodo sleeps. He dreams. He stands again upon a plain, not of black glass, but of white sand. The sky above is pale blue, shot through with silver. In the distance rises a city of white towers, shining. He feels a presence, not Sauron. Older, vaster, gentler. It is like standing before a mountain and a hearth fire at once. Frodo Baggins, says a voice. It is not loud, but it fills the world. Frodo falls to his knees. He feels Sauron shrink, curl in on himself. Manwe, Sauron whispers, and there is fear in his tone that Frodo has never heard. Frodo does not know if it is Manwe or another of the Valar or some deeper power. He only knows that he feels seen completely. His whole life lies open. His childhood, his friendship with Bilbo, his journey, his failure, his choice in the fire, his long struggle afterward. The presence regards Sauron within him as well. It sees the Dark Lord's pride, his cruelty, his endless justifications. It sees his fear, his loneliness, his hunger for control. It sees everything. You have brought him here, the voice says. Frodo bows his head. Yes, he says, I could not destroy him. I could only hold him. I bring him to you to do what I cannot. There is a silence that is not absence, but consideration. You have borne what none should have to bear, the voice says at last. You have made a choice that few could have made. You have taken into yourself the shadow that would have consumed your world at the cost of your own peace. Frodo's eyes fill with tears. I am so tired, he whispers. I know, the voice says. It turns its attention to Sauron. Myron, it says, using the name Sauron had before his fall. You were not made for this. You chose it. You clung to it. You could have turned back many times. You did not. You have wrought great harm. Sauron coils tighter. I will not beg, he snarls. I will not repent to win your favor. I will not be your penitent dog. The presence is neither angry nor indulgent. You misunderstand, it says. This is not about favor. This is about healing what can be healed and ending what must be ended. It turns back to Frodo. You have bound yourself to him, it says. You have given him a home in your soul. To separate you will cause pain. It may unmake you, it may unmake him. Frodo lifts his head. So be it, he says. If that is the price to free Middle-earth, I accept it. Sam's face flashes in his mind. Rosie's, Merry's, Pippin's, Aragorn's, Gandalf's, the Shire. He smiles through his tears. Please, he says, let them be safe. The present seems to sigh. You ask for others, it says, not for yourself. Frodo shrugs helplessly. I have had more than I deserve, he says. I have seen elves. I have seen mountains and kings and battles. I have had friends. I have had a home. That is enough. There is a warmth then like sunlight on a spring morning. Very well, the voice says. Light gathers. It is not like the fire of Orodruin, hot and raging. It is cool and soft, yet so bright that Frodo has to close his eyes. He feels it enter him. He feels it touch the knot where Sauron resides. The Dark Lord screams, not in rage and terror. No, he howls. You will not unmake me. I am Sauron. I am. The light wraps around him. It does not tear. It does not rip. It holds. It presses. It burns, but not like fire. It burns like truth. It shows Sauron himself, without his justifications, without his grand narratives, without his excuses. It shows him the faces of those he has hurt, the elves he deceived, the men he corrupted, the dwarves he used, the orcs he twisted. It shows him Frodo, crawling through Mordor under the weight of his ring. It shows him Sam, carrying Frodo when he could not walk. It shows him the Shire, small and green and stubborn. It shows him what he could have been, a maker of wonders, a healer of hurts, a servant of beauty. He cannot bear it. He howls. He struggles. The light holds. Frodo feels it all. He feels Sauron's terror, his rage, his grief. He feels his own fear, his own weariness. He feels himself thinning, stretching, as if he is being drawn out like gold hammered into leaf. Do you still accept this? The voice asks gently. Frodo clings to one thought. Sam's hand in his. Yes, he whispers. The light intensifies. There is a moment of pain so pure that it is almost joy. Then, silence. On the deck of the ship, Gandalf feels something. He is standing at the rail, watching the gray sea. He feels a tremor in the air, in the fabric of the world. He feels a knot untie. He feels a presence vanish, not just Sauron's, Frodo's. He closes his eyes. He knows with a certainty that needs no sight that Frodo Baggins has ceased to exist as a separate being, not destroyed, not cast into the void, transformed. His small, stubborn soul that carried such a burden has been taken into something larger, like a drop of water into a great sea. Sauron's remnant has been unmade. The last shadow of the Second Age has passed. Gandalf's eyes fill with tears. He feels grief, sharp and deep. He also feels relief, so profound that his knees tremble. He whispers a blessing in a tongue older than the world. In the Shire, on a quiet evening, Sam pauses in his garden. He looks up at the sky. For no reason he can name, his heart twists. He sinks onto a bench, hand pressed to his chest. Rosie comes out wiping her hands on her apron. "Sam?" she asks. "What is it?" Sam blinks. Tears spill down his cheeks. "I do not know," he says, voice shaking. "It is like something has gone, something precious, but it is not altogether sad. It is like when you watch the sun set. You are sorry to see it go, but you are glad you saw it." Rosie sits beside him. She takes his hand. "Is it him?" she asks softly. Sam nods. "Aye," he says. "I think so." He looks at the stars. They seem a little brighter. He feels a strange peace settle over him. He knows, without knowing how, that Frodo is safe. Not in any place Sam can imagine, not in any house with a door and a hearth, but safe. He knows also that the shadow that once whispered to Frodo will never whisper to anyone again. Years later, when Sam's own time comes, when Rosie is gone and the children are grown, he will walk the same road to the Grey Havens. He will stand on the same pier, look out at the same sea. He will board a ship. As it sails into the west, he will feel a presence. Not Sauron, not Frodo exactly. Something of them both. A warmth, a courage, a stubbornness. He will smile through his tears. "Mr. Frodo," he will say, though no one stands before him. There will be no answer. There will be, instead, a sense of welcome, like a door opening in a house he has never seen, but somehow always known. In Middle-earth, life goes on. Aragorn rules wisely. His line endures. The Shire remains green and stubborn. Stories of the War of the Ring become tales told by firesides, then legends, then myths. In some of those stories, Frodo Baggins is a simple hero who carried a ring and cast it into fire. In others, darker and rarer, whispered by lore masters who have read strange books, he is something else. A vessel, a prison, a hobbit who carried a dark lord within him across the sea. Most do not believe those tales. They prefer the simpler ones. Yet sometimes, on nights when the wind is from the west, carrying a scent that is not of any known sea, some in Middle-earth feel a shiver, a sense that somewhere beyond sight, a small figure stands watch still, not with a ring upon his hand, but with a memory of its weight. They feel faint and distant, the echo of a choice made in fire, a choice to claim and then to surrender, a choice that saved them all at the cost of the chooser. In a green field in the Shire, children play under a great tree. They do not know why the grass there seems a little softer, why the light seems a little kinder. They only know that when they laugh, their joy rings a little clearer, as if the world itself smiles. Far away, beyond the reach of any map, beyond the curve of the world, in a land where no shadow of Sauron can ever fall again. A hobbit who is no longer a hobbit, and a darkness that is no longer a darkness, dissolve together into a light that is not blinding, but gentle. It is not a victory song. It is not a lament. It is simply being. And in Middle-earth, under stars that have seen so much and will see more, the wind moves through the party tree with a sound like a sigh, as if someone, somewhere very far away, has finally laid down a burden and gone to sleep.